What's up, YouTube? Devil's Details Diecast here with a very special giant build for none other than Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop. Keith is a Chevelle fanatic, and a bunch of us got together for his birthday to do a Chevelle custom for him. I decided to go with the 1/24th scale Fast and Furious Dom's Chevelle from Jada Toys. This will be, of course, fully stripped down and customized, unfortunately, because it looks pretty badass as it is. This will also be my first 1/24th scale car, so should be interesting. I got some ideas for it, and I hope Keith likes it. So stick around, let's have some fun. Alright, here it is out of the stripper. Just kind of thrown back together a little bit, just to get an idea of what we're working with here. I did some wheel work, as you can see. I didn't think the gray rims were too good looking, so I painted them black for now, and we'll see what happens with those. I did hit this with the wire brush and the Scotch-Brite. There is some red paint left here and there. I could probably throw this back in the stripper, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let everything dry out. It's still a little bit wet. I just washed it again. Let everything dry out, and then I'll pick at any areas that are going to be loose. But I'm basically going to be doing a opaque paint job. There it goes. I didn't screw anything in. I just kind of put it all together. Anyway, I'm going to be doing an opaque paint job on this, so I'm not too worried about anything left over. I'm not doing candy paint or anything like that. So just wanted to give you an update and show you what she looked like with all that red paint off, and we're on to the next step. Stay tuned. Alright, so back with an update here for Keith's Chevelle. This was the engine that came with it, which we all know is not going to fly for a Chevelle. So I contacted Grizz at Bearcat 3D Designs, and I said, I need a blown out, or blown, whatever you call it. I'm not an engine guy, sorry. I believe it's a blown Chevy engine. So, what we're going to do, he also included a nice little template. So we could get a template of where to cut out the hole. I started drilling some pilot holes, as you can see, and realized that one of the holes goes right into this plate here. So I was going to use a jeweler's saw to cut this. I may just use the cutoff wheel, because I'm going to have to go through this. I could probably drill out those rivets as well, but we're going to try just the cutoff wheel first and see what that does. And if we have to, I guess we can get into drilling out those rivets. So obviously this big black bottom part will be underneath, and that's the motor we'll have showing through. So stick around, cross your fingers.
I hear you got a lot of flocking birds.
I thought for this build I'd try something a little different. I always like to try to do something different on these big builds, and I got some of this baby blue flocking material. So what I'm going to basically do is I have some Mod Podge here, matte finish Mod Podge. I guess it really doesn't matter, but I'm going to put glue on the back dash, on the floor, and I'm probably not going to worry about in between the seats, only because wherever you get glue is where the flocking is going to stick, and I don't want to have to try to start picking that out. So I'm going to do as much as I can down the sides, the middle, and the back dash. I'm going to have to do it in a box, so you're really not going to be able to see that process, but I'll walk you through basically. I mean, it's pretty simple. Get your Mod Podge. Only put glue where you want it to stay, obviously. Never done flocking before, but I have done similar stuff with static grass and everything like that with dioramas, so kind of the same principle. You just kind of, actually I probably don't even want it on the edge there, because I'm going to probably trim that out. So basically I'm just doing what looks like the floor mats on this car. Just two little squares on the bottom there. You don't want it to be too thick either, because then it'll look bumpy. I'm sure I'll have some trimming that I'll have to do, but and then the back dash. Kind of wish I had some speakers to put on here. Maybe I can figure something out with that, but just want to get enough on there so it'll stick. The stuff's pretty small particles, so don't need a lot. And you can always reapply if you have like a spray adhesive too. So got all my paint on there. I'm just gonna let it tack up a little bit, and I'll get the flock out of here. I'll show you the results once it's finished. So here's the results of the flocking I did. Had to end up doing multiple layers of it just to get the look I wanted. But all in all, I think it came out pretty good. It's in a very lifelike look. So basically just kept adding Mod Podge. I ended up watering it down to kind of get it into the little spots that I wanted to. And just threw it in a box with the flocking, shook it around, took it out, let it dry a little bit, blew off all the seats. I also cleaned off the bottoms as best as I could with a toothpick, just kind of take off any glue that might have stuck with the flocking. And called it a day. So definitely a fun experiment. I think it adds a lot of realism to the piece. Not sure if it's worth it on 1/64 scale because you most likely never see it, but on the larger scale here, I think it adds a nice dimension. So onward with the build. All right, for the final installment, I decided to keep the chrome bumpers. I had taken the on the other model I had taken the bumpers and dechromed them and tried to paint them up, and they just didn't look good no matter what I tried. So when I got the new model in, since I broke the windshield on the original model, I got the new model in and took off the chrome bumpers, and what I did was just cover up the Fast and Furious sticker they had there and put an iron cross, as you can see. And then on the back, I took out the red stickers they had for tail lights, chromed it inside, and then filled it with Tamiya clear red, which is really cool. It's almost like a gel. So they look better than they did originally anyway. And then I chromed over the Fast and Furious sticker on the bottom there and just did a little American flag to cover that up as well. So these are going on. These are going to be the two final pieces, and we'll have the reveal. Stick around. And if you remember, this is what we started with. The 1970 Chevelle SS, otherwise known as Dom's Chevelle from Fast and Furious, from Jada Toys, in this beautiful cherry red with black pinstripes. And here's what we ended up with. And here we have it, folks. In all its finished glory, the 1970 Chevelle SS in this baby blue blown motor, thanks to my friend Grizz. Finished interior. Of course, gotta have a skull in there. The door's still open, obviously, but the trunk and the hood are glued shut. The hood for obvious reasons, and the trunk because I couldn't find the piece to keep it closed. So I don't think Keith is going to be opening and closing the trunk anyway, but there it is. This is a really fun build, definitely challenging, as if you didn't know, I broke the original windshield towards the end of the build, Had to actually order a whole new car just to get the windshield. But I'm glad I did because I ended up using these chromed out bumpers instead of the blacked out ones I tried to do. Bottom's detailed. Obviously rolls well. And it's on its way to Massachusetts. So Keith, happy birthday. Hope you like it. Because I sure do. If you don't like it, send it back. I'll put it on my shelf. Till next time, have a good one. Be well.
Ha 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 ha!